Hello and welcome to Nanopod, a podcast dedicated to the fantastic manga written by A. Yazawa. I'm Crystal, and I'm joined by my best girl Kirsten as we dissect this manga, discussing everything from the emotions, the cultural impact, as well as any headcanons that might be floating around in our brains. With this podcast, we hope to preserve a shoujo staple that sadly hasn't been talked about in a very long time. So come with us. We're waiting for you in apartment 707. I'm excited to read Neighborhood Story. I picked it up and I was like, I can't read you yet, but oh, you're so soft and pink and pretty and
It looks so cute. The cover is the Japanese cover, I guess. Um, but I can close this. I don't know why it's showing me Joker stuff.
I don't know. That's I'm
Well,
just
I think it's just because that's how they hide the fact that it's illegal scans.
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
because it's on a pirate website.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm fancy. Um, I mean, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let me close that window.
Oh, hey, look. Final Girl Studios.
Yeah, it's because I remember I opened the window. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't lose it because I have to watch that video on Manic Pixie Dream Girls. In
Yeah.
defense of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah, and then she just came out with another one. It's like, is there such thing as a Manic Pixie Dream Boy? And I want to watch that one too.
Yeah, they're soft boys.
Yeah, and I like that Jack from Titanic is on there.
Interesting. Interesting choices. I don't know if I agree with the choices. The first one that I see on the cover is Edward Cullen.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I also don't think that the Manic Pixie caveat can have supernatural powers.
That's fair. That's yeah.
I don't think the Manic Pixie actually belongs in the fantasy world because I think the reason that it makes them Manic Pixie in the non-fantastical world um is because they are fantastical in a world that's not.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. I would agree with that for sure. No supernatural.
I mean, they could be woo-woo and witchy, but that's not the same.
No, it isn't the same as like I'm
It
a
just
vampire.
high fantasy, right? Not
Yeah.
a thing. Like who's
No.
the Manic Pixie dream girl of a high fantasy? The mortal human, right?
Yeah, I mean probably because she's not like the other girls.
Right, Bella Swan. Autistic
Bella's
coded.
well,
Autistic coded. Okay. Neurodivergent has to be. She's so clumsy and awkward. Okay. Okay. Doesn't know how to communicate. Okay. All the things. Okay. So, she would be a manic pixie of some sort within the Twilight universe.
okay, now my brain is running with this interesting thing. I'm like, okay, if she's autistic coded, and then my head, I'm like, oh, what if Edward is the type that just like preys on, you know?
Well, that's part of the problem that people have hyperanalyzed this campy fucking movie through.
Oh,
He's a
did they?
grooming old man.
Oh, yeah, right, because
Ah, and he is a predator. He's naturally a predator because he's a vampire. Okay, so
right. Except we only drink the deer blood.
we only drink the deer blood and the cougar blood, whatever we can catch.
Yeah, we're the vegans of the vampire world.
Wait, is that what makes them the manic pixie coding?
Oh God, I don't.
I'm so
Maybe I
confused.
don't know. Now I have to watch it to understand. Like, or did you just
It's
throw a picture of
if you
Edward in
think
here?
about it, if you think about it in the context that it's actually camp,
Yeah.
it's way more digestible.
Oh yeah, because when I
You
found out,
can't it can't be taken
yeah,
seriously.
ugh, I try not to because when I found out she was a Mormon, I'm like, oh no, everything's becoming too real. I don't like it.
I mean, I would say, okay, so camp, it's camp. It's camp. That's it. That's the whole thing. And they're teenagers. So, again, it's one of those things where we can't be putting a lens on what a healthy relationship looks like, for teenagers. Okay?
Mm,
Um, it's when you're learning. Not everybody is my son.
yeah. And right. It's- We're on
Yeah.
book 12.
We're on. Hello, welcome to Nonapod. We're on volume 12, chapter 41. 2.
2.
Chapter 42.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
reading the variation from Ribbon Mascot Comics Cookie.
Ooh.
And there's a color image. And it's of Takumi and Nana. And Nana is holding a tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Little tomato from June's from
June.
June's parents' farm.
Yeah.
And we have a synopsis.
Yep.
It says, on the train to Tokyo, Nana and Hachi crossed paths without knowing. Both of them, opposite in background and character, had been brought together by the Demon Lord. No, by fate. It should just say by the Demon Lord.
Right.
Yep, again, and lived in the same apartment. To get Hachi back from Takumi and beat Trap Nest, Nana's fighting spirit was high.
Yes.
Blast, with only a temporary contract with Gaia, suddenly became famous because news of Nana and Ren's relationship got out. Gaia then decided to let them make their debut. The hot gossip about Nana and Ren caused Hachi to look out for news of them on the television worriedly. At this time, Hachi got a message from Nana. After training in the mountains, Blast stayed at a hotel. They went on a music show where they finally got to perform live. They performed live in their gorilla performance.
Yeah.
Anyway, Trap Nest was also on the show. During a break, Ren proposed to Nana, and she accepted after doing a lot of thinking. After the
Yes.
show, it wasn't a proper proposal.
No.
It wasn't. After the show, Blast got Hachi's message asking whether they would like to see a fireworks festival. So the four of them went back to room 707 to wait for Hachi. The time for them to finally meet was near. I think that kind of covered it
Yeah.
in a very roundabout way.
Right.
A lot more has happened than just that, obviously.
Yeah, but synopses.
Mm-hmm. And then it looks like it's snowing.
Mm-hmm.
And it says now, if I meet them again, I'll suddenly feel like depending on them. That's really, really small font. That's why I'm so scared that I can't even take another step. And then it's a colored image of someone in a kimono at the riverbank,
Mm-hmm.
walking into the distance, to the beautiful distance. And mine is like full. It's like full color, but it's like has a high white tone to it.
Mine's just black and white.
Yep,
That's it.
I have that too. And then there's a color picture of fireworks.
Ooh.
I know. They're very orange and red fireworks, yellow. And it says, "Hey Nana, the blooming fireworks are still being set off at the same place this year. I'm in room 707 waiting for you guys. And I've even prepared the same kimonos." That must be in the future.
Yeah, I think it's
That must be like in the future.
Yeah, because we're going into the future, and it's the background narratives is changing back to Hachi.
Oh, that's right. We're in the future. I didn't do a pre-scan.
That's okay.
I figured we're reading it anyway.
Right.
And then if you would like to take over, since I read a lot already.
Sure. So there's like here we have like the shot of the Tama River, and then we still have this person walking, and the sound is like ch cha cha cha, and the traditional shoes are going click clack clack. Then there's more ch cha cha. And I think it's just like the sound of like the wind in the trees. And there's a little girl with dark hair in a cute little polka dot. I don't know if it's either a yukata or a kimono, one of the two. And she's looking at this black butterfly, and then she goes to grab it, and then it flies away. And she's like, "No!" And then the woman with the cute little parasol stops walking and turns around and says, "Satsuki." And the little girl looks up at her. She's super cute. Super, super cute.
Mhm.
And it's Hachi. And she says, "What are you doing? We have to get a move on." And the little girl runs to her and says, "But mom, there's a butterfly." And Hachi says, "What?" She says, "There was a butterfly. It's big and black and beautiful. It's a famous butterfly. I saw it in a book." And now we're here at 7:07. Is that technically a scene change? I'm not sure because they were along the river.
You can keep going.
Okay, so here we are in 7:07, and someone is saying it must be a black swallowtail. And there's an answer of a black swallowtail, and there's the strawberry cup on the table. It says it's not a butterfly, and now we have an ashtray, and I believe this is Yasu because he's smoking those clove.
It's Yasu.
Yeah, and he's saying it's a type of butterfly. It's called a swallowtail. And Satsuki just has all the dot dot dots. And Hachi's sitting on the opposite side. She says, "Phew!" And she's fanning herself for the fan. It goes pat pat. And Satsuki says, "A swallowtail? How is it different from a normal butterfly?" And he just looks at her with a sweat drop, and there's a little like normal butterfly on the side, but it's like really tiny and white. And he says, "Talking to Satsuki reminds me of how Shin used to be." Uh-oh. And Satsuki says, "What?" And Yasu says, "That means he was like a 6-year-old." And Hachi just laughs. And then there's a creak of a door. And here's Shin. He's much more grown up now. He's not 16 anymore. What is he like?
He's in
Maybe
his 20s.
Yeah, he's 20 now. 20 something.
Early 20s.
Mm-hmm. He's so pretty. His hair's not spiked
Because,
in
like,
this
okay,
though.
yeah, early 20s. Because if she's 6 years old, he's 15, 16.
Oh, yeah, you mean at the time he's
Yeah,
about to turn 16?
he's going to be 16. So
Mm-hmm.
then plus 6.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So,
22.
yeah.
Four. How many is that? Yeah, 22.
22?
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, "What about me?" And they look over at him, and Satsuki's got a little heart next to her head because I think she's got a little crush on Shin, which is
I
understandable
mean,
'cause he's
everybody has a
adorable.
crush on Shin, right?
Yeah, because he's just the sweetest.
Mm-hmm.
And Hachi says, "Shin, you look so dashing. Heart, it really looks good on you." And he says, "You think? Wait, how do I tie this?" And he's in like a traditional yukata.
Yukata.
Mm-hmm.
Yakuza. He's in a
Yakuza.
Yakuza.
He's in a Yakuza. He's wearing a whole flesh suit. That's
Yep.
of a mob boss.
Yep.
And Hachi's like, "Let me tie it for you, Heart." And then he says, "Then tie it like yours, like a butterfly, Heart." And she says, "No, I'm not doing a butterfly knot. This one's called Hana Banko. And young girls tie their obi like this." And he says, "What? So you can't tie it either?"
It's called a flower bow.
Oh, a flower bow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Butterfly knot and flower bow.
Flower bow. It's like, "What? So you can't tie it either, Hachi?" Whatever. And she says, "Shut up!" And and then Shin just laughs. He's smiling. And we got the think boxes, and they say tonight is the annual Tama River Fireworks Festival. No matter what everyone's doing in their lives, we all gather in this room on this day. And there's a stomp of rocking horseshoes on the stairs, downstairs, and the think boxes say still carrying the same pain inside. Then there's a as a beer is open and it goes glug 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 into the glass, and Nobu is here, and he says, "Oh, thanks. That's enough." and he's talking to Hachi, and he says, "If I start drinking this early, I won't make it for the fireworks." And she smiles at him, and he says, "Every time I see you, Yasu, you haven't changed. You're like a living fossil." And Shin just laughs. And, uh, and Yasu says, "It's only been a few months." And Nobu says, "No, you haven't changed at all since high school. So even if you live for 1,000 years, you'll stay the same." And Shin says, "You haven't changed either, Nobu, like your height." And he says, "Shut up, dude." And then Hachi comes back and she says, "Nobu, why don't you take a bath and change into your yukata?" And he says, "Oh, okay." She says, "I'll draw you a bath, heart." And he says, or Hachi says, "Okay, all right, little man." And then turns away and she's got like the smut drop and the little like dot blushy marks. And then Nobu asks, "Hey, where's Ren? Is he coming?" And Hachi says, "He's going to get here right before the fireworks start." And Yasu says, "Still grooving to his own beat as usual." And then Nobu says, "Here, Satsuki, I got this for you." Heart and ta-da! And she looks at it in big, big eyes. And then Shin is tugging at Nobu's shirt and he says, "What about me?" And Nobu says, "Nada."
So it's
And
called um it's Yumiko, which it translates to dream doll or a doll.
oh, okay.
It's Yumiko-chan, she says.
Yes, Yumiko. She goes, "Mommy, look, it's Yumiko. She's wearing a yukata." And yes, says retro dress up doll. And Hachi takes the box and now she's all blushy and she gets very excited and says, "Yeah, with a heart. It's so cute. Thank you, Nobu. I love this retro doll collection. Eek, eek, I'm so happy." And he says, "I didn't get it for you."
And she glares at him
Right,
hard.
right. She's like, "Mm." And she's like, "You're so psyched, Satsuki. I say thanks to the nice man," with a heart, and he says, "Nice man," and Shin
Oh,
is just dying.
she calls him Uncle Nobu. Say
Oh,
thank you to Uncle Nobu, and he's like, Uncle.
Uncle. And Shin thinks that's very funny.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's way
And
funnier
then,
as Uncle.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's like, no, I sound old if you call me an uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Thanks so much," says Satsuki, and he just gives her this really gentle smile. Um, which is interesting because I think this totally blows the whole concept of like, oh, even if it was Takumi's child, you couldn't love it, like right out of the water.
Exactly. Because
Like,
he loves her.
yeah, and it's adorable. It's like,
Because they are a family. However,
mm-hmm,
that might look. It doesn't have to be a traditional family to be familial love.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that that's a really like yucky patriarchal archaic notion.
yeah, agreed. And oh, that means that Shin might actually be older because technically, and we already talked about this, this is Hachi's second child. So, however old Ren is right now.
Oh yeah, Ren is the oldest.
Mm-hmm. And
For some
it's
reason, I always think that Satsuki is the.
yeah,
So
we
what?
talked
Ren's
about
like
that.
20 or Shin's like 24,
Yeah, because it's only
right?
like a couple years difference or something like
Yeah.
that. But then we're back in the think boxes, and it says the passage of time purges the past and heals the wounds of one's heart, but some wounds don't heal. This apartment is just like it was back in the day. Here, time stands still. And then we have Hachi in the bath, and there's a squeak as she turns on the hot water, and we can see that the clawfoot bathtub has been replaced by this very modern-looking tub
Mm-hmm.
with a shower curtain. And she's got her hand in the water going swish swish, and she's thinking about back when she got into the tub with Nana and was like, "Nana, Nobu and I," and then there's a splash, and she remembers Nana saying, "So what's going on with Nobuo?" And she looks really sad, and there's like these water droplet motif kind of
There's like
over
a
her.
there's a film of like water ripples over her.
Mm-hmm. And then there's someone says Nana, and she turns around, and it's Nobu, and there's a creak at the door, and he says, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I made you a citrus bath. Heart. It smells awesome, no?" And she holds up like this little jar that has oh, my brain's like
It's in
smelling
mine. It says,
salts.
in mine it says
Oh,
bath salts. It just says
bath
bath salts.
salts. Yes, that's it.
She's like putting in some bath salts. Smells nice, doesn't it?
And he's looking at it and is just kind of smiling like, "Oh man, bath salts, really? You don't have to."
I think no, I think that this look that he has there is him appreciating like I see the way like or how I'm reading his facial expression
Mm-hmm.
is him like he's looking at it and he's recognizing like Hachi.
Mm.
Like only
Mm.
Hachi would do this. Like
That's
Hachi,
true.
you know what I mean? Like only she would take that extra step of care, not just putting hot water in a tub, but actually making it like something valuable,
Mm-hmm. Like
right?
fancy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, "You don't have to worry about me. I'm all right now." And then he looks sad. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
It's hot," and says, "Sigh." Then she gets up and she says, "Little man, I put a towel out for you too."
She calls him master. Like in mine,
Master.
both times. The last time she also called him master, and like she's calling him master.
Right. Because she's like play acting. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's like, take
I've
your
prepared the
time.
towel for you too, master.
Like they're at a fancy, like, bathhouse or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like, "Take your time, heart." And then he reaches up and takes a hold of her hand,
As
and we
she's
can,
standing, yeah, he grabs her
yeah,
hand as she's standing up.
and we can see the wedding ring still on her finger.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that shot for me when I reread this, I was like, "Oh, I'm hurting. Like, my heart
Yeah.
hurts."
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the difference between the Takumi love and the Nobu love.
Mm-hmm.
That like
Yeah.
that right there is the difference between the Takumi love and the Nobu love. The Takumi love is the ring. The Nobu
Mm-hmm.
love is the hand.
Yeah.
Like that's very literal.
Mm-hmm. And she's sad.
She
Sad
is
face.
sad. Yeah,
She's so
not
sad.
crying, but like sad. She's sad,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
And then it says, "Nana, there's so much I want to talk about, but in this room, only memories reflect in my eyes." And then we have a scene change.
Scene change and there's fireworks, explosions, and now we're back in the present.
Present past?
I almost said yeah, I was like almost in the past, but we're back in the present point of the story.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. We're back at the present point of the Yazawaverse. And
Mm-hmm.
it is okay, so remember, okay, they're all dressed up as different people except for, well, I guess Nana. I mean, Nobu kind of looks like, or no, Nobu, okay, so Nobu looks like Shoji.
Mm-hmm.
Shin looks like Masato.
Mm-hmm.
Nana looks like Nana in the future.
Yes.
Um, she's got like a long wig with bangs, and she kind of looks like Yukari,
Yeah.
Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline.
And Yasu
It's in the 70s.
he looks like Shin as a grown up going to the disco.
Yep.
No, but sorry, beatnik. He's a beatnik.
Beatnik. He's a
Yeah,
beatnik.
he's Shin grown up as a beatnik,
Yes, not a punk, but a beatnik.
but a beatnik. And they're all looking at the explosions outside the window, and it's pretty. And so then Shin says, "Wow, that's amazing," and Nobu says, "Awesome," and um Yasu looks annoyed. And he's like, if we can see it from the room, we don't need to disguise ourselves. And now Nana's yelling and she's like, "Hey, where's Hachi? Why isn't she here yet?" And Shin like leans back and he's like, "Maybe Takumi found out, so she couldn't come anymore." Nobu says, "I keep wanting to call them what they're dressed up as." No. Like it's actually like confusing my brain a little bit.
Right?
Nobu's like, right? I'm like, okay, so Shoji says.
Right? So yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, okay, so Misato Shin says
Right? Um
and Shoji Nobu says.
Nobuo Shoji-chan. I'm so confused. Okay, says no, Takumi wouldn't care about this kind of stuff. Yasu, voice of reason, says she'll come. The fact that she didn't inform us that she wasn't coming means she'll be here. And now, like, Nana's still irritated and looks like she's yelling. And she's like, but this isn't a good sign. And there's Hachi, and she's sitting on a bench crying. And it says, I've got to go. Everyone is waiting for me. If I bailed out this time, then I would really be a traitor. But my heart, or no, but my tears won't stop flowing. And then it's a gaze of Shoji. So we have to remember Nana did just run in with Shoji and they have a final goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Shoji's face and it says goodbye. And now she's got a memory of the two of them when they're sitting together and laughing when they were young. And it says, I thought I would feel better after letting it out, but I didn't realize being by Shoji's side was such a comfortable feeling. When I was with Shoji, we were friends before we were lovers. So if I got rid of that awkwardness, we would go back to what we were before. But I've lost him forever. I should have cherished what we had. And like a teardrop falls on her hand where the wedding ring. And then her phone starts ringing. And she picks it up and the phone says Shin. And she's like, what to do? If I saw Nobu now, I wouldn't be able to talk to him calmly. I would be crying silently. And then it's another flashback of Shoji, and it says, people with past offenses must learn to follow the rules and control. That's what. Because remember, in like my translation, like Shoji was acting like he was like a villain, like like you know, like he committed a crime. Because I mean, it's a crime of like ethics and monogamy, sure.
Right.
Cheating on someone, right? And so now she's crying and her eyes are all wet. What should I do? I don't want to just ditch them without saying anything. It's like betraying them. If I'm not planning to go, I should tell them clearly. And then she goes to answer and it's Nana and she's on the other end and she's yelling and she's like, hello, is it Hachi? hello, are you there? Hello. Frantic. And Hachi's like sitting there and she's still crying and she's like, Nana, what's wrong? Where are you? That's what okay, so Hachi says Nana. Nana says, what's wrong? Where are you? Hachi says, I'm near Jackson. Hachi says, oh, you'd better hurry. The fireworks started already. And then she's crying. And she's like, I'm sorry. I think I'm not coming. And Nana's eyes got huge. And she's like, why? And she yells it. Like yells. Not a yell. And so all three of them, their eyes get wide and they all look over. Hachi is like just weeping and Nana's like, are you crying? What happened? And Hachi says, I'm still afraid of seeing Nobu. And Nana, it's in the panel is Nobu looking at Nana, and Nana's huge. And then it's a panel of Hachi, and then a panel of Nobu's, and then a panel of, and Nana's face gets really soft. This is such a beautiful panel of Nana. Honestly, like it's so beautiful. And she says, it's okay. Nobu didn't come today. And then it looks like a horror scene.
Yep.
Like it looks like it's out of a horror. Yeah, it looks like it's out of a horror. Like it's like a high contrast to the drawing, and so all their eyes are like, I don't know, like whited out a little bit, but still have like definition. Like it's a high contrast.
Yeah.
And so Hachi is still crying. And they're still on the phone. And Nana's like, he didn't have the courage to come. So he changed his mind at the last minute. What a coward. Shin just dots and like glaring over at Nobu. And Nobu just looks like super irritated and possibly embarrassed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't really know how to like discern or describe the expression exactly on his irritated
Yeah, he's just like,
yeah, exactly. And it pans we're back to looking at Hachi sitting on the bench and she's sitting up and Nana says, "So don't worry, just come. Yasu and Shin really miss you. Don't be a wet blanket saying you won't come at the last minute." And Nana is just silent, holding the phone to her ear. Or Hachi is silent, holding the phone to her ear. Nana says, "I really want to see you, Hachi. Come quickly." She's so pretty with this hair.
mm-hmm.
Like it softens her face a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
And so now Hachi is blushing and then starts to cry again. And Nana hangs up and Nobu stands up. And Nana is like, "Nobu, where are you going?" And Nobu's like, "Home. If she doesn't want to see me, how can I stay here?" And Nana's like, "She didn't say that. She said she was afraid to see you. From that, I can see that she still likes you." And like at this point, like Nana is like kind of running after him and pulling him back by his shirt. And
Mm-hmm.
Nobu says, "Stop doing things that will only be beneficial to you." And now Nana's angry and she's like, "I'm not." She's yelling, "I'm very clear on that. She's scared that after seeing you, she'll change her mind. I understand how she feels." And then it pans to Yasu sitting there smoking. And Nana says, "She'll be marrying Takumi in 2 weeks. That's really soon. If she suddenly falls in love with you, she'll be in trouble, swirled into quicksand again. You think she's not afraid of that?" And Nobu looks back at her and turns around and is like, "Then the more reason for me not to meet her." And Nana is still frantic and she's like, "Can't you just let yourself be in quicksand with her for once?" And Nobu's eyes got big and Nana is angry.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's like scowling and she's like, "Forget it. You only wanted to comfort Hachi after she'd been used and dumped by Takumi. You didn't like her as much as you said you did." Oh, Jesus.
Which is
Cut,
not nice.
cut deep, cut deep.
Yep.
And then Shin over there looks mad and has like his face, kind of like his cheek on his hand, like leaning in, holding a beer, and is like, and just like listening. And now Nobu is yelling, and he's like, "I did like her. What do you know anyway?" And now Nana's turned around, and her eyes are like, "But do you like the girl who's your he's oh Jesus." She says, "But do you like the girl who's your neighbor, right? The one who has the same ailment as me?" Jinpai said, "She's mentally unstable. If she doesn't take her meds, she won't be able to work." Now Nobu looks irritated and he's like, "So what? She's still working very hard and trying her best." Nana glanced over at him and like, "From last time, you just love helping those in distress, even though their problems have nothing to do with you." And now Nobu looks more angry, I think. Shocked. Shock
Yeah.
anger. Shock
Shock
and
anger.
anger. It's just his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Um and Nana just like casually, very curtly, overconfidently sits on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And Yasu says, "Nana, stop it." And Nana says, "But when you were also getting into the thick of it, you'd withdraw and leave." And now Shin speaks up. Shin looks mad too, but like
Mm-hmm.
Shin in like the quiet sage way,
Yeah.
you know, like
Mm-hmm.
in like a kung fu master kind of way.
Yeah.
Um, and Shin says, Nobu, she's challenging you. Ignore her. And it says, what an insecure kind of love this. And the fireworks are still going off. And
Mm-hmm.
now they're in the crowd.
Yeah. They're outside now, where it's much louder. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a boom, and Shin still annoyed,
Yep.
uh, which is understandable because that wasn't very
That
nice.
was shitty.
Yeah, yeah. How interesting it's in reverse because the last time she did this, she was lashing out at Shin, but Shin is very good at being
Yeah,
like,
Shin takes it
"Mm."
totally different.
Yeah, and he also jabs back just like even deeper. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but with no lies behind it
Right.
either.
Right. What's
Um,
that saying? Like, don't bring something to a knife fight. Don't
yeah, like
bring.
to bring a gun to a
Yeah.
no knife to a gunfight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
it.
feel like they're fighting with knives. Like Nana and it's very like a Martian how Nana and Shin argue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very much a knife fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas like Nobu doesn't know how to wield it,
No, poor baby.
right?
He's fumbly, very fumbly,
Mhm. Mhm.
but that's okay.
That's okay.
So Shin says, Nana's cruel. She's manipulating them to be in the same place together. When she puts it that way, of course, Nobu gets angry, and Hachi will end up suffering even more. Nobu's a pacifist. He's doing his best to walk the line that lets everyone be happy. I don't think avoiding conflict means not caring. And he's talking to Yasu. And Yasu
Mm.
says, that's true. It's a battle with your own desires. And then there's a blah 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 as Nana's over by getting some yakisoba, and the man behind the counter is like, "What'll it be?" Hey, lady, how much do you want? Because she's looking down in a way that's kind of like, did I say mean things? I think I said mean things. I
Yeah,
think I
she's in her head
regret.
about the conversation. Yeah. She's
Mm-hmm.
not present.
Nope. And he's like, hey, lady, how many do you want? She says three. And then we are flashing back into the 707, and there's a clack as the style wax goes on the table, and there's a swish, swish, and a boom outside as Nobu fixes his hair. Now it's all spiky again. And he's thinking about when he said to Hachi, I'll do whatever it takes to make you happy. And then he closes his eyes and then there's a ding dong and another boom outside, and we see Hachi standing outside the door. And he's going to it looking like, I don't know, determined, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, he's nervous for sure.
Mm.
Because above with the
And
little sweat bead. And so, like, I would say he's
yeah,
trying to be stoic, but Nobu is not a stoic creature.
no, no. And then, no, not at all. And then Hachi's face on the other side of the door is very
Those
placid.
shoes. Can we just have a moment? Can we have a moment for like the sneakers that he's wearing, like basketball bro shoes? Like,
Right?
let's just take a moment, like, because that's cracking me up.
The track shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
like,
track
yeah.
shoes.
I feel like they're high tops,
Oh,
like
I don't
basketball
know.
shoes. I feel like they're basketball shoes.
That's fair. They're like squeak, squeak, squeak
Yeah,
across the floor.
so funny. Totally
Uh,
something Shoji would wear.
yep. He's in his shoji disguise. And he's thinking about the conversation. It says, hurry up and get over here. I want to see you soon, Hachi. If she got back with you, Hachi'd get stuck in an impossible situation. And he's reaching for the latch of the door. And then he stops, and there's a big boom outside, and it's Nana again, and she says, it's been so long since I've seen fireworks. They really are amazing. And Shin says, this is the first time I've had food from a street vendor. pretty damn good. Heart. And Yasu and Nana say, "What?" in
Freaking
unison.
out. Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
freaking
And
It's
there's,
so funny.
and there's a kaboom. And then Ocean, he looks over in his little Masato disguise to Yasu and he says, "But eating with chopsticks is hard, Sniff." It's
But
got little teardrops.
he's like holding them in his fist, like
Yep.
up in the air when there's like a noodle wrapped around it.
Uh-huh. Okay, Shin, I have been told that I hold chopsticks the wrong way and eat with them in the wrong way, but here's the thing. I still get the food to my face, so it doesn't matter, okay?
The
You
trick
can
is
do
that
it.
you kind of have to hold one like a pencil, and
Yeah,
that's the one you move.
I
You
I
hold it
I
like a pencil.
I don't do that. I crisscross mine and then pick food up like that.
Oh Jesus. Okay, so when I come to visit, we're
I like my crisscross
gonna
cross
eat with chop.
way.
You know what? It's gonna make your
Oh
life
no.
so much easier. Oh, they have little kid chopstick holders at Daiso.
Yeah. Oh, I know. See,
They're
here's the
so cute.
thing. Here's
They're
a
so
here's a
cute.
Oh, I know. I've seen them. When I first went out to eat sushi with Nate's ex Barb, she watched the way I held my chopsticks and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm putting food in my mouth." And she's like, "That's not how you hold chopsticks." And I'm like, "Look, it gets the food from point A to
I'm
point
gonna
B."
teach you. You're gonna try. You're gonna try for me because it'll make me really happy.
Okay, I will
Okay.
try for you because Barb was like mean about it
I will
and
be nice about it, okay? And maybe I'll get you a little bunny kid one. Okay? Okay.
yay! I love cute ones and I miss Daiso so much.
I mean, I have one walking distance from me now, so
Lucky.
I know. It's like people laugh like because I explained like Daiso is like self-care.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's like my self-care space because everything is always so organized. It's never messy. It's bright. It's tidy. Like nothing is ever mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then it's all the cute things you could ever imagine. Everything is cute. Everything is cute. And I could just go get
Everything
new
is cute.
stationery. You know what I mean? Like I can get new like
Mm-hmm.
annotation tabs and stuff. Like that's what I usually get is just like a little snack, a little UCC coffee and like annotation stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my self-care
Yeah.
trip. Mhm. Yeah, it's
Uh,
lovely.
I love it. I miss it. I miss it so much. Um, and that okay, so like Yasu stands up and he's like, "I wonder if there's any forks anywhere." And Nana grabs him and says, "Don't coddle him. Make him practice." And there's a ring of Shin's phone. And he picks it up and says hello, and he has to like hold one ear because
It's loud.
fireworks are
Yeah.
loud. I hate how loud they are. Anyway, there's like a boom, and then Yasu says to Nana, "Don't yank on it, my wig will fall off." And she laughs. And Hachi says, "Hi, Shin?" And he says, "Yeah, where are you?" And she says, "I'm outside the apartment, but no one's answering." And drink your water because she's like kind of freak out crying.
Yeah, it's a big mouth cry.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Did you leave to go see the fireworks?" And then there's boom, and Shin's eyes are big, and we get a shot of Nobu sitting on the floor on the other side of the door with his head down. And Shin just has his eyes closed, and he's like, "Yeah, we couldn't wait any longer. Sorry." She says, "No, I'm sorry I was late. I'll come find you guys. Where are you watching from?" "Yeah, all right. If I can't find you, I'll just call again." And then there's like a stomp stomp, but she's going away, and she goes, "What? You're in drag as a little girl?" And then she's laughing down the hallway. And oh, so sad. We have Nobu here with his head down, and yours said, "Why can't you get in the quicksand with her?" Mine just said, "Why can't you just get stuck with her?" And Nobu's
Yeah, mine references
crying.
quicksand also in like the flashbacks. Like
Mm,
when he initially goes to like open the door, it says this is the flashback like quote. It says if we got back together, it would be like drowning in quicksand. That's what he's thinking to
mm,
himself.
yeah. And Nobu's crying. It's very sad.
Yeah, because he does still love her.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to get over her, damn it. Um,
Yeah.
and and then it says, "Well, that's the easy way out." And
Oh, and your quote?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my quote says, "Can't you just let yourself be in quicksand with her for once?"
Mm-hmm. Which I think is honestly kind of
Hard.
funny. It's hard, but also that can't you just be in quicksand? Oh, I hadn't thought
With
about that
her,
way.
with her.
With her,
Hmm.
yes.
Because like the whole thing is they might be like stuck and getting pulled, but they would
Mm-hmm.
be together,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like the reference is more of like the elements, what's outside of them is against them,
Mm.
right? But they would be doing it together.
They would, but do you know that the downside of quicksand is that you are eventually going to sink and die. So
The downside of quicksand is Atreyu and you lose your horse.
that too, that too, the swamps of sadness. It's all the
Right?
swamps of sadness. It's very
Okay,
traumatizing.
we're now instead of quicksand, we're referencing whenever it says quicksand, it is the swamps of sadness.
Oh, that's fair.
Because actually that's so fitting.
It is,
They would
and
be drowning in the swamps of sadness together.
oh no, yeah. See, that's even worse. Um, and then I don't know if you want to take us out the last couple of pages because now we're like away from that and they're like permanently outside, like
Yeah, that's fine.
permacide.
It says what an insecure kind of love this is. And then it shows explosions.
Hmm.
And it's Hachi and she's super excited and watching so beautiful. And there's a long line, so I'm assuming beautiful.
Yep.
And now they're all sitting together. Why is there a big black spot? Is there a
Oh,
big Oh, that's the
it's
back of the bonnet. That's the
yeah,
back
it's
of
Shin's
Shin's
bonnet.
bonnet. Oh my god, why it looked like they like blacked out his face, but his head was on backward. I was so confused. That's
Who
awkward.
done to Shin?
I don't like that. So Hachi's sitting in between Nana and Shin, and she's like super happy and excited. And Nana glances like side glances, not side eye, but side glance. And is like, what a huge diamond. And Hachi covers it up really fast. And Nana's like, hey, it would be okay if you don't invite Nobu to your wedding, but how come you didn't invite me? You only invited Yasu and Shin? And Hachi looks like super shocked. Above Nana's head, it says, um, it's meaningless having a friend like you. And Hachi's like, would you come? And Nana's like, of course. I'll still sing the punk version of the Ladybug Samba. So she'll sing at their wedding. That's cute.
Hmm.
And now Hachi is like happy crying with sparkles around her head. And it says touched over the top of her head. And Shin is behind her looking amazed and says, what song is that? And Yasu, he's like this poor kid. He's a poor kid. He's like, I'll get the CD for you. Responsible for the guitar tabs. And Nana is like now Black Cat Nana.
Yeah.
And is like, you must be happy. Like, what?
She got like angry marks and like little fangs and
She
little
looks super
cat
cute.
ears.
Yeah, she's Black Cat. She's Black Cat Nana.
Uh-huh.
Um, and now she's like glancing down and she's like, Nobu has retreated for your happiness. You'd better not let his efforts go to waste. And now Nana like looks like really, I don't know, shocked, like sad shock, sad shock.
Hmm.
Um, and Nana's still talking, and she's like, "But because it's Takumi, you'd cry once in a while." Well, it's better you're stupid liking that kind of fellow. But don't try to commit suicide if you find out that he's having an affair.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god. Wow. Oh man, she's like, whack him to release your anger till you're happy again. And now like Nana, she like looks her like silent happy. Silent happy. She got little
Hmm.
tears in her eyes. She's like welling up. and she remembers back when Nana was defending her in the shoji,
Mhm.
and when she's looking at Hachi and says, "If you don't fight for it, then you'll lose him. Get him back." And it's the scene when like Shoji is holding Sachiko.
Yeah.
It says, "Yep, you're right. Thanks, Nana." And we have thought boxes. It says that day there was so many people at the festival, but I never met Shoji and his girlfriend. What crossed my mind was that everything had finally been settled. Yeah, that was a lot of
Yeah.
closure.
Mhm.
Yeah, except for Nobu. He's
Yeah.
probably a Taurus. No, he's not. He's an Aquarius, but
He's an
um
Aquarius.
actually Nobu is not. Nobu is a Capricorn.
Is he
Wait, no. He's an Aquarius. No. Pisces.
gonna No, he said he
Wait.
was an
No,
Aquarius.
he's an Aquarius. He's an Aquarius. Jesus Christ. I'm getting my months mixed up now.
Yeah, yeah.
January 23rd. January. Well, here's the thing. He might be. Every year it switches between the 21st and the 23rd, and then also we have to remember that in Japan they're a day ahead.
I mean, I guess we could double check it because Kaden was asking me like, what are the star signs of the boys in the band? I'm like, oh, I can answer this.
Well,
I can tell you.
they said that they okay, so remember Nobu though had said they were all Aquarians, but
Yeah,
Finn is not an Aquarian.
he's a Scorpio.
Right, but he lumped them all together to being that sign initially. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in Japan though, it is a day ahead,
Mm-hmm.
day and a half actually, ahead of what it is here.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. So when it's the 23rd there, it's the 22nd here.
So
He
he,
could, depending on, because every year it's not exactly the same.
so we need to know his year to figure that out.
Early Aquarius. Yeah, early Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Like early degree Aquarius. And there's a slight probability that it's a late degree Capricorn.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't get a lot of Capricorn. I get more Capricorn from Takumi. Um,
Yeah, definitely. But like also, the rising sun, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's that's more of like the personhood that we see.
True.
Because like the sun sign is more of the vitality of life and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, where was I?
And she says,
Thought
please do
boxes,
not.
thought
Yeah,
boxes,
thought
thought
boxes.
box. Yeah. So thanks, Donna. And we have thought boxes. That day there were so many people at the festival, but I never met Shoji and his girlfriend. Scroll the right way. Okay. What crossed my mind was that everything had finally settled. In a crowd where you could easily lose sight of each other, I wanted to hold Nana's hands. But I was afraid that if I held it without a legitimate reason, a hand that was so much like Nobu's warm body, she would think that I've gone nuts. Interesting.
Hmm.
What does that box say for you? A hand that was
Um,
so much like Nobu's warm body, she would think that I've gone nuts.
it says, but I was worried she'd be annoyed if I innocently grabbed her hand, which was as warm as Nobu's.
Okay. Huh. The wind that passes through my fingertips is chilly. Is summer already over? And then it's Jinpai. And he's driving the little van. He looks super happy. And he's like, "Did you all have fun watching the fireworks? Work hard after this." And the whole van is just, it says silence.
Yep.
And they're all just sitting there. And Nobu's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And it says swoosh next to him. And Nana looks really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's also not one to apologize.
Yeah.
And it says, "Hey, Nana, He always looked forward to going back to that summer day. And it's a picture of the Nana's bedroom with the kimono folded on the bed through, and we can see it through the windows. It says,
Mhm.
"Now we're here. I will wait for the summer that we missed, even if it takes 10, 20, or even 50 years." And then there's a picture of the strawberry cup amongst some empty beer cans on the table.
And that's
Oh,
the end of the chapter.
that was a tough chapter.
Yeah. So short, but a lot happened.
Yeah, it's a tough chapter.
Yeah.
Anyway, use both brains.
Use both brains.
Hachi would have ended up with money any which way.
Yep.
She would have eventually had a pavilion. She doesn't even have a pavilion now. Princess penthouse. Okay, there's no pavilion.
Princess Penthouse is nice too.
I know, right? And
Ah.
just leave the boys alone.
Yeah.
Just leave the boys
Please.
alone. The girls are the problems,
Yeah.
really. Actually, the
Yeah.
nanas are the issue.
Mhm.
They're the ones stirring the pots,
Yep.
and the boys are just vegetables in the pot. They're in nana
In
stew.
in the pots, they're like those guy. Oh man, I can't remember his name, but he was in one of the Oz books where he had to stir like his soup with like his hands and his feet. A
The
pumpkin
magician.
cake. The magician. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
the magician. It's in the Patchwork Girl of Oz.
yeah. I'm like, I think it's in Patchwork Girl. I was over
And
here
he was
thinking that.
stirring all four of the kettles same time. Two with his
Yes.
hands, two with his feet, to the ladder. Wooden ladder.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's the
That's
magician.
it. Thank you so much for being here, guys. As always, you come and find us on the internet. We are at apartment707 underscore on Instagram, and we have a link tree there that has all of our stuff. Thank you for being here, and we will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye forever.
We have comments.
Oh, I'm so ready.
We have actually quite a lot of comments.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a little bit this time. Um, so somebody that is not a regular. I'm just going to maybe like I don't know. I can't even, it's like Griswold or something like that.
Maybe it's
Um
Griswold? I don't know.
it's GZW0 as an O RLDDD.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Um it says I have chosen death by reading this manga, like crying, like weeping emoji.
Mm-hmm.
Um I just know that my heart's going to be lost after reading this. That was 3 years ago. Have you gone to therapy?
Right.
How are you doing today?
Mm-hmm.
It never leaves you.
Nope.
There is always like a deep guttural pain
Mm-hmm.
when you remember the story. That's just it.
Yep.
And Rin Hashima replies and says, "Yes, same. I already have so much feels from finishing watching the anime. The anime is not as guttural.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it doesn't like rip your fucking heart out of your chest every time."
Mm-hmm.
It says, "I don't know if I can go on. I accidentally read some manga spoilers and I think it's going to be more heartbreak from here on out. I just want them all to be happy and content, damn it. It's because of the happiness that we want them to find that the
Mm-hmm.
reality of their story arcs is so intrinsically heart-wrenching,
Mm-hmm. It's upsetting.
but it's also like real." And that's
Mm-hmm.
why. It's because all of these scenarios are things that you've either experienced in life one way or another, or like they're realistic. You know that like they could happen.
Mm-hmm.
and we get really invested and attached to the characters because Yaza was the best.
Yes.
Um, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, drama smoker says Nobu has to be the most selfless guy Hachi has ever been with. Facts.
Yeah.
He deserves so much better. Also facts.
Yeah.
I shipped them hardcore, but now I really hope Nobu gets to be with someone better because Hachi is too easily shaken. She'll only bring him pain. I think that in the right circumstances, they would be great together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just they're not a faded expression at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And Strawberry responds and says he literally abandoned her in her most painful time. Um,
I mean, we've discussed this. No, he didn't.
yeah.
She didn't say anything. He asked, like, hey, things, and she just kept saying, I'm
And
sorry.
Takumi, okay, so like here's the thing is Nobu, golden retriever boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Takumi, war poodle.
Poor poodle husband.
Like Nobu, golden retriever puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Takumi, war poodle.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
We can't judge a personality type for not knowing how to navigate dangerous spaces.
Yeah, and also we know that Strawberry is one of Hachiko's little followers,
That
so.
is true. That is true. There's 8 likes on this. One of them is
Mm,
Hachiko.
of course.
There's 3 dislikes on this. One of them is Leah, and then 2 guest votes.
Hmm.
Well, Non-Dono responds to Strawberry and is like, this is long. How do you exactly help someone that carries someone else's baby and when you reach out for them, they don't even face you? Sure, it was an accident. No one was at fault per se, but they were both adults. She knew what she was doing when she had sex unprotected with someone, even that person being controlling and manipulative. If that puts Takumi at fault over Hachi, still, Nobu is not obligated to peacefully accept it or deal with this just because Nana were part of a possibly abusive relationship. Quote in quotes, well, in parentheses, quoted possibly, um, because no one knows how much power she really had over protecting herself from pregnancy. End parenthesis. Anyway, Nobu already did a lot in a situation he barely had any obligation.
Mm.
Well said. I actually appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have any obligations to deal with any of it, except
No, not
for
really.
having feelings.
Yeah.
He had obligations to like his own feelings
Mm-hmm.
and choosing what was, I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He chose what he thought would make Hachi happiest too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Painkiller liked it. There's 7 likes, 1 dislike, which is Melisa. I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. Um,
Oreo.
and then Sish, SCH, responds to Strawberry also
Mm-hmm.
and says, Hachi let him do that. She could have easily got him back. She chose to go with Takumi. It was her choice. But Nobu's part of the problem for not doing anything about it either. They're both at fault, blaming one person for a broken relationship like this one is just wrong. And then our favorite troll, Hachiko, responds to that comment I just read and says,
Um,
stop blaming Hachi, even if it was Nobu's child. It would be always better with Takumi because he can at least afford a child, unlike Nobu. So shut up and think a little bit realistically. Okay, I have obviously a
mm.
problem with this.
Which part? Because I'm over here going, I mean, he is the heir to a hotel.
There
So.
well, yeah, there's that part. So if we want to talk about the monetary part, right, which is the issue here.
Mhm.
Takumi still would have financially supported the child no matter what.
Mhm.
He said that.
He did.
He said that he would financially support the child
Yep.
no matter Hachi's choice. Nanchi responds to Strawberry's comment and says exactly. Just as a refresher, Strawberry's comment was he literally abandoned her in her. Um, Leah responded to Strawberry's comment, and Leah did also or Leah disliked Hachiko's comment about
Mm.
the money thing. So Leah responds to Strawberry's comment and says, "I'm sorry?" Question mark. The guy literally told her to lie to him, and he would believe her. He just wanted her to tell him anything. Um, by that point, it was way too clear that she chose Takumi over him. All she said that she was sorry. In what earth is it that him, and that's like capped, abandoning her in caps?
Mm.
So in what earth is this him abandoning her? She was the one who gave up on them when she took Takumi's offer. You're ridiculous. Yeah, she chose Takumi.
She did.
She chose Takumi.
Yeah.
What was her dream from the get?
A pavilion.
A pavilion. Okay? A fancy wedding dress. Like her dream from the get was to be a well-off housewife.
Yeah.
Because she fell in love along the way, okay.
Yeah.
What did she ask the demon lord for?
The pavilion. Well, yes,
The
that.
pavilion.
The pavilion. It was
The
the
pavilion.
pavilion. It was
It
the
was the
wedding dress. It was
pavilion.
a whole thing. And oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to tell you. I have a friend who said to me like I feel like I am Hachi, and I said, do you invoke the demon lord?
Yeah.
And they said, I think I must have because I asked for this so my partner would not leave me, and then this happened, and then it all got messy, and I said, you must be careful what you ask the demon lord
Don't
because
ask the demon
you
lord
are.
unless you want it because and
Yeah.
also if you're going to ask, be very clear.
That's what I said. I was like, look, you must be specific when you ask the demon lord because the demon lord gives you exactly what you want. And they said yes, he did. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you. Like like that's how it goes. That is how it works.
Yeah. So, Hachiko responded to Strawberry
Mm-hmm.
and says, "You're the sanest person in the whole Nana manga fandom here, I swear. No one else realizes that Nobu isn't that unproblematic." We're not saying that Nobu isn't problematic. They're all
Mm.
problematic.
Yeah, because they're people. Well, fictional
Mhm.
people, but people.
They're people. They're egregoric at this point.
Right?
Um, and then Hachiko responded to Drama Smoke, which is what this thread is. And just as a refresher, Nobu has to be the most selfless guy, yada yada, Hachi, yada yada, yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And our favorite troll says Nobu is literally a selfish guy in the whole manga, bro. And then Leah responds to Hachiko is like spelled Nana, Takumi, and Hachi wrong. Oh my god.
That's good.
That's good. That was good. That was good. Okay, so now that thread is done, and we have LOLOL says, "Bro, my heart."
Yeah.
Tampopo says, "Just finished anime. Time to read, and the tissues are ready." How are you starting at this point?
I'm like, you didn't just start right here. Oh, maybe they did. Maybe they did because this is where then the anime ends.
Oh, that's stupid. You missed so much. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to read from the beginning because there's
That's right.
more.
This is where the anime ends. Don't
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Yeah, don't do that. It's
Don't be
bad.
dumb. Don't be dumb. You've missed so much context that's not in
So
the
much.
anime.
Yeah.
And somebody else responded same. And then Leah says also, why the heck haven't Hachi invited Nana to the wedding, bro? No, but really, because she didn't think that she would show up.
Yeah, because,
Because she didn't know if she was still mad at her.
because they didn't talk.
They haven't talked, even though, like, I don't know why Hachi would think that, like, she literally talked directly to her at the gorilla thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
Sraka says Nobu's the real fucking vic.
I mean,
I mean, yes, but I don't like to. I wouldn't call Nobu vic.
yeah, I wouldn't either.
I would say that Nobu is experiencing a young love heartbreak that's very
Mhm.
complicated and sticky. AV Pie says the thing that's silly about this whole thing is that there was a solution for everyone to be happy. Nana and Takumi could have just co-parented without actually being together. He could have sent her child support and saw the kid whenever he could, and she could have stayed with Nobu during all that. Nobu didn't have to take on being the kid's dad just to be with Hachi. Takumi already said he would do that. Nobu could have been the stepdad. So there was no issue really, but maybe it's a cultural difference with Japan, yep, where co-parenting
Mhm.
isn't as much of a thing. That is a very well, like, good way of putting it. It's well written.
Mhm.
Because yeah, we
Yeah.
know. But again, pavilions.
Pavilions.
Pavilions and demon lords. Pavilions and demon lords, okay?
Ah, coming to ABC Family.
Right? It's a Hallmark Spring special.
We.
Oh my
She
god.
just
Hallmark Spring special, Pavilions and Demon Lords.
and Demon Lords, and it's the reverse story.
Right
Instead of her
after the
going back to the
700 Club.
oh my god, and it's all in reverse because instead of going from the big city to back to her small town, she's going from the small town to the big city, and that's
Yep.
where it all goes wrong.
That's where it all goes wrong. Oh god. Layla responds and says Takumi proposed co-parenting to Hachiko, but Hachiko herself wanted to marry and start a family with Takumi because she loved him and she wished that since the beginning. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
she loves them both. It's
Yep.
okay, guys. It's okay. You can love more than one person.
You can.
Um, Painkiller says this manga destroyed my heart and it's barely the middle of the unfinished story. What? Weeping, crying emoji. Nobu, thank you for having the courage and kindness enough to put your feelings aside in caps. Seeing him cry ruined my day. Broken
Oh.
heart. I mean, yeah, it's tough. Um,
Mhm.
as for what Nana said, I don't feel like Nobu likes to play the savior, and even if he does, he did all he could with Hachi. What the fuck? Did she did she expect okay. Did she expect him to raise a kid even if he couldn't afford it? Question mark. Oh my god, you guys stop talking about the money. Takumi would have shelled out the money. Um and whatever happens with the Miyu girl, it's not Miyu. Nana's
Well,
just dumb and not paying attention.
yeah, I mean, but she's focused on that because Nobu briefly did try to,
Yeah, but it's
you know,
not. It's the
it's Yuri.
Hachi as a sex worker.
Yeah, it's Yuri.
Yuri, yeah. Um, and whatever happens with Miyu girl, I know he'll be able to handle it. Nana, you say the most painful things to those around you. That's true.
Yeah, she can be very mean.
And Hachiko did not like it. And so then Painkiller has another one under the same thread. There's two, there's more. I'll say when the thread is over. Um, on a bright side, Yasu being a dad is the wholesomest thing ever. And it's a screenshot of when Shin has the chopsticks and is like, but chopsticks are so hard to use. And then Yasu getting up, is there a stall that has forks? And Nana being like, no, don't spoil him. He has to get used to it. Like they're totally parents there.
Right, right. I'll go find a fork. No.
He needs to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, they're totally mom and dad.
Yep.
Um, and then all in caps, they say, no, I just read spoilers down. I was warned,
Mm.
but I didn't. I thought it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be that. Let me go back in time. No, and Alistair says, "No, I just did the same thing. No." Is there a spoiler in here somewhere? I mean, we've already talked about spoilers, but I want to know what the spoiler is that everybody's freaking out about.
Maybe it's the future thing where it's like, oh, we're in the future now. Oh, we see the child. Oh, no, now we
That's
know the
not a
baby's
spoiler.
right.
It's
Like maybe,
intentional.
right? Like we know the baby's gender. I'm like, do you? Because there's two
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, I don't think it's that because I don't think it's that. Because they come back and reply to their own image to say it. I think that it's like further down. Like
Hmm.
they got notifications of more comments and they came back or something like that. We'll see.
Huh.
Hachiko responds to Painkiller. Hachiko, you are busy today. And says Nobu is selfish. He does want to be a savior, but not just because he genuinely feels bad. It's because he's insecure as hell. And seeing people would make himself feel superior and obviously for his own pride. Can you at least realize that your mid-ass Nobu is not unproblematic? Why don't you just say that's a double entendre. Just say your mid-ass Nobu is problematic, not is not unproblematic.
Hmm. So you just said that he. Wait a minute. Is not problematic. So
It's
he's not.
yeah.
So he's not
It's a double
problematic.
yeah, it's a double negative. You just like negative you negatived it out.
Well, which is fine because
It still means not is problematic. Just say is problematic. That's all I'm saying. And
right.
Jizbear or Jizbei is back in response to Hachiko. It says thank you.
Oh no, not minion
And,
number two.
right, and that thread is done. Yeah, exactly. We have a new troll. We have a new troll in
No.
town. So Jizbei says, I don't feel bad for Nobu because he had his chance to, quote, win her back, but he was afraid. Yes, but he
Yeah.
didn't. She already chose. He had no, like, chance.
Mm-hmm.
Stop pretending that he had a chance. Let's just start there. Stop acting as if Hachi did not have her own decisions that she made.
Right.
Like, why can't you give her her own autonomy? That's my biggest issue with this argument.
What? Give a woman autonomy?
Exactly. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
That sounds ridiculous.
I know. So, but he was afraid. Thinking about it, Takumi is a better match personality wise. But the issue with Takumi is that he's Takumi. He's a fucking dick. Oh, I love it. The issue with Takumi is that he's Takumi.
He's Takumi. Have you
That is
considered?
right, but that is the issue with Takumi, is that he's Takumi. Like that's
It
that's
it
it.
is. Yeah, he's war poodle. That is it. But
Yeah,
again,
he is
yeah.
an issue, but at the same time he's beautiful
Yeah.
and
So
smart and
pretty.
does actually care about everybody. He just has like a really like abusive and yucky and abusive way about going about caring.
Yeah, it's a yike.
Mm-hmm. And then, oh gosh, Leela says, call Maury.
Oh, Maury.
Maury Povich, like the meme I made
Oh, okay.
of the People's Curry that says Nobu's not the father. That's the thing
Oh,
they're referencing. But it was
oh,
6 months ago. Yeah,
oh,
it's a
okay.
meme. Cause like that daytime television. Maury is like famous for doing paternity tests and saying, you know, blah blah blah. It shows you are not the father or you are the father. Like
Okay. Paul Maury. Got it.
it's like paternity. It's like scaled back Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Taylor says, I'm scared to read any further. I'm thinking most of these people really are just starting at this point.
Yeah. Which
Um, mm,
that's a choice. That's a choice they're making.
yeah. So May May says, reading this manga after a heartbreak hits different. Yeah, no shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I hope you have like tissue and a good therapist. Um, mm, Nonchi says Nobu is a peaceful person. That's a fact, but Nana's not entirely wrong. She was mean, like Shin said, but she was on point. I do feel that Nana did have points in there. It's just her delivery is terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't nice.
She
And
throws
also,
daggers.
yeah, she throw daggers at boy who can't wield any a butter
Anything.
knife.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He only knows how to use chops. Shin does.
Right? No, Shin knows how to wield a blade though too, so he can't use
Good point.
chopsticks, but
Yeah, exactly. He can't use chopsticks, but like he knows how to knife fight.
uh-huh.
Um,
What's your skill set? I'm a Nobu. No, I'm not. I can't even use chopsticks properly. I am
I'm trying to figure out this like person's name. It's like Unpistachito Verde.
un
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
like a verde like a sauce but with pistachios?
Pistachios? Un
Okay.
pistachito verde. Okay, anyway. Um it says, "What's that thing on the bed? A yukata? It's a kimono.
Mhm.
Um does it have any particular significance? It's a kimono. Um I don't have a great memory of the past chapters. Sorry. Any answer is appreciated. It's a kimono.
You should just
It
reply to
has to
them.
do with this chapter.
I mean, yeah, you should just if you're
I
logged
could
in, you can
I
just
am
reply to
logged in. I
them.
don't want
Okay.
to.
Oh, okay.
Dolly says it was 2 years ago. Dolly says, I'm scared. I guess buckle in. This one is in Portuguese.
Oh, another Portuguese one translation.
Yeah, but it even says Portuguese and then Spanish. And I really want to read it in Portuguese or Spanish. Can someone help me?
Oh,
Makes sense.
yeah,
You can find it in both, but Spanish is going to be easier. There's a bunch of sites. There's a whole like Nana fandom in Mexico.
which is cool.
I'm a part of a bunch of the Facebook groups.
Hmm.
It's a larger fandom, I think, there than it is in the US, honestly. Um, and then we have the last main comment, and it says spoiler warning. So this is what everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how Nobuo and Shin asks where Ren is if he's coming, and Nana says that Ren is coming before they light fireworks? This is a scene into the future. However, in a chapter way ahead, he died from a car accident. Does that mean that he's still alive? So this is part of one of my headcanons that Nathan gets mad at me about.
Oh
Um,
no,
did
what?
any did anyone realize this? Because I also noticed that in the anime that Nobuo asks where Ren was. Is this a mistake? But IG. Oh, um, well, we will never know since Miss Yazawa discontinued the series. She hasn't discontinued it. Um,
Hmm.
and then Sarah Clark responds. Okay, so here, Sarah Clark responds and says Ren is Hachi's older son.
Hmm.
But one of my headcanons has always been that I don't know if Ren actually died.
Oh. Okay. Couple things went through my head. One, why does Nathan get mad at you for that?
Because since Ren is dead, it's fine that the manga doesn't go on.
Okay.
Because Ren is needed,
Mm-hmm. And
right?
he gets he gets mad about it. Oh no.
Well, and like since Nana ran away, and Ren died, it only makes sense that the hiatus happened. Because
Wait.
therefore the story needs to be incomplete.
I remember you said that a long time ago. Now, why do you think he's still alive?
Because he could just be like on ICU and it could be propaganda for the band.
Oh, then who's in the box?
That's called propaganda for the band.
Oh. Trying to put it together over here. I'm like,
But also, what if he wanted to disappear with Nana?
oh, that would be nice. That would be nice.
And they ran away together. Why can't I have that?
That's fine. That part I get. But wow, that would really hurt everybody else to think that he's dead.
That's not my fault if they don't have a big enough imagination. I mean, logically speaking, they're talking about the kid, right? That's
Yes.
like, I get it. I understand. That's the logics. But it doesn't mean that I can't have imaginary endings in my head and I want a miraculous thing to happen. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
don't
I
hate
still
it.
I still do think that it could be like just, Gaia writing a story. Like what if he's like mangled? What if he can't sing anymore? Wouldn't it be easier to like tell fans that he died?
True.
Like it has to be top secret that Ren is still made a contract with the Demon Lord.
Right? Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's too good. He's
Or
gonna
what
be
if
so
he's like
annoyed.
Jesus? Like we could even go a step further and he's actually like Jesus and like yeah, that was actually his body, but like he's a vampire and so, he like climbed his way out.
Yeah. I'm and we've come full circle to our manic pixie dream boy.
Yep, it's Ren.
It's Ren.
Actually, I think Shin is
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
and so is Nobu, actually.
That was Nobu, but I would argue this Shin.
I think Shin more so, but I think that Nobu is in like a gentle way.
Yeah. Shin is it in the actual because it's like, oh,
Nobu is more like let's see. Okay, so Nobu is more like the Zoe Deschanel Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and Shin is more like, you know, um the Scott Pilgrim version, right?
Yeah. So do you think that's what it is? It's just like there's like different like
Oh,
I'll
there's
call it
definitely,
like
yeah.
flavors of Manic Pixie Dream Girl. 'Cause
Absolutely. They're not all the
oh,
same flavor. And then there's also
okay.
the anti-Manic Pixie,
Yeah.
which is Rose McGowan from the Jim Carrey movie that I always forget the name of.
Oh,
Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind.
yeah, Eternal Sun. Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah,
was like the
she's
Kate
an
Winslet.
anti. Kate Winslet. She's an anti
Yeah.
So according to Wiki, a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, an MPDG, is a stock character type in films. Film critic Nathan Rubin, who coined the term after observing Kirsten Dunst's character in Elizabethtown, said that the MPDGs exist solely in a fevered imagination of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life and its infinite mysteries and adventures.
Yep. That's it.
And so it definitely comes from the male gaze, right? So the MPDG, like some other stock characters, such as I don't know how I feel about saying that, seems to exist only to provide spiritual or mystical help to the protagonist. They have no discernible inner life. Instead, their central purpose is to provide the protagonist with important lessons in life. So Catherine Hepburn's character in Bringing Up Baby.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. So as one of the earliest examples of this archetype. Is it because she had a big cat as a pet?
Oh, I don't know. I never got a chance to watch that movie, but I
It's
know
a screwball comedy.
it's a screwball comedy. Yeah, I know. Oh God, who's is Gregory Peck
I
her
don't know. I
co-star
didn't.
in that
It's
one?
it doesn't show that. And then we have Clarice in Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451.
Mm.
Bradbury has been credited with some truth, with foreshadowing, or even inspiring everything from 24-hour news as entertainment to Sony Walkman. Yeah, that's true. Um, However, seen him properly he's never been properly credited for his insidious creation, the Maxi Dream Girl. Um, so Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yep, yep. I should watch that
Check.
tonight. It's on my shelf.
Goldie Hawn in Butterflies Are Free.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. What? Let's see. In Autumn in New York, the square dude in question is uptight businessman Richard Gere and the charming Minx who breathes life into his sorry existence.
Oh, jeez.
Reawakens his libido, his delightful pixie crazy free spirit Winona Ryder breathes life into his sorry existence. Penelope Cruz in Vanilla Sky, Natalie Portman in Garden State.
Yep, 100%.
Right, absolutely. Uh, Silver Linings, Jennifer Lawrence. That's true. I did watch that. It's not a great. Um, Robbie Margot in Amsterdam. I've never seen that.
But I can see Margot
Uh,
Robbie being the poster child
right.
for that.
Yeah. 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 One of the flavors.
Yeah, one of the
Um,
flavors. Oh, would you like blueberry?
Daisy Jones and the Six.
I don't
I've
know.
never seen that. It's Riley Keough's titular character.
Hmm.
Okay. Counter examples. Annie Hall in The Guardian, Kate Winslet in Eternal Sunshine.
Anti.
The counter example. This isn't
Hmm.
really, I don't know, like this is very surface and I feel like at this point, like even like I remember the first time that I was referenced as this archetype.
Hmm.
I guess if we want to call it that, I would say character type, but um
Yeah.
or like coding, right?
Hmm.
Um was at the bookstore by my
That makes
coworkers.
sense. All of them?
Yeah, they discussed it.
Oh, well, oh, okay.
Uh-huh. I mean, I was there. Um
Okay, because I'm like,
it's still weird.
uh,
It's still weird. Um but yeah, so it's just I don't know. I feel like the wiki description is like very like two-dimensional at best.
mm, it's wiki is explained for dum dum.
Yeah, that's true.
Explained for dum
Uh
dum.
but
So
The
yeah.
Atlantic has like something titled The Real World Consequences of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Women's Network
Mm,
has one, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, Who She Is and Everything.
yeah.
Like there's a lot, but yeah, so like when would that have been though? That probably would have been like 2009.
Hmm.
Um, when I think the trend of it being like conversation started,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was a thing. Because I remember hearing about it and just sort of being like, well, of course, my brain being ever fanciful, it was like automatically I started thinking of fairies. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fairies? You mean like from
Yeah.
Labyrinth?
Like that's the first thing that I thought of too,
Right? And then everyone's like, no,
right?
a person. And I'm like, a person? And then they're like, oh, this character from, Eternal Sunshine or Garden State. And I'm like, oh, okay. You mean most of my girlfriends? Like most of the
Right.
female friends in my life. And they're
Right.
like, wait, you have those? I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then but then, there's the weird thing too, is just like either you are like just actually friend person or you're, hmm. I've seen girls that want to be manic pixie dream girls, and that just baffles me. I don't.
Well, I think that it also like inspired the Tumblr girl,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
the same time period.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I got my first Tumblr and I think that was 2008,
Mm-hmm.
when Tumblr came out, and that's when I got my first Tumblr. And at that point in time, it was all street art, actually. Like it was like street art. It was like, you know what I mean? Like in
Mm-hmm.
its very, very early stages, just like any early media space. It's like, well, what can we do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And like Instagram hadn't existed yet,
Right.
so it was kind of like Instagram,
Right.
right? But I think that the Manic Pixie Dream Girl inspired the Tumblr girl. I
Yeah,
think that it was just like a natural progression.
I can see that. I think what's baffling to me in certain instances is, I think in Final Girl Studios, she actually says it. I think because she was young enough to start, like, being one of those Tumblr girls, she just like said, she makes kind of a broad sweeping statement that most girls dabbled in becoming manic pixie dream girls. Like we tried to,
Hmm.
play the ukulele and all that. I'm like,
Hmm.
we did. W-
Well,
I'm
from
like,
that era, I would say, from that subculture,
I
absolutely. That's
okay,
that's slightly younger than you.
yeah, yeah. So I guess I was very much like, so, that's why I would love to talk to this person in person or, over whatever
Hmm.
platform and be like, I feel when you say all, that's a really, really broad
Yeah.
statement. I don't know
See,
if
like
you.
I would take that as all Tumblr girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Like that's how I would take that.
okay. That makes sense because I'm just like, see, when Kirsten lists things, that's like, I legitimately thinks that she likes, and not because
Right.
she's trying to be like ethereal. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Not
You're
trying
like,
to be an aesthetic. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're like, I like bugs, and I'm just like, she literally just likes bugs. There's
I love
nothing more to
bugs.
it.
I
Like
just
that's
really like
it.
bugs. I think they're so cool.
Right? I'm just like, she just likes bugs. I'm like, oh, it's not, but some people are like, oh, that's so like quirky. And I'm like, no, it's just the thing she likes.
It's just something I like. I just really I think they're cool.
Yeah. And that's why every time I
I
see a
think they're like
beetle,
silly little guys.
I'm like, I'm like, look, a beetle. Kirsten would love
Yeah.
this person. This
It's
would
just a
be,
silly little guy. He's just a silly little guy living his little life.
oh
Doesn't
no,
have to be more than that.
right? Oh no, he's on his back. It's
Oh
very,
no. He can't walk.
you
What do
can't
we do
walk
to
right.
help him?
Take up a leaf, put him back.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I just get excited.
Yeah, and that's like I'm like that's just who this person is, and it has nothing to do with cultivating anything fake.
Right.
I guess that's
Yeah.
what gets under my skin for real. I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah. It's the cultivation of wanting to be something rather than wanting to be who you are.
yeah, and that just
It's
that grinds
authenticity,
me.
right? It's
Yeah.
authenticity in autonomy, right?
Mhm.
And so like I can understand though, like that idea of like wanting an aesthetic.
Mhm.
Like and it's the same as like wanting material object, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like there are people like that and that is actually genuinely who they are. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like I guess I have a varying like sensational I'm like, "Oh, you really desire that."
Mhm.
Like you're not naturally that thing, but you are naturally inclined to want to be that thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And so like maybe like now I'm thinking about this obviously now in an astrological sequence. Like, oh, maybe like their moon sign is really prolific and the moon goes through a lot of changes and a lot of
Uh,
phases, right?
right. Right.
Um
You have the
also
grasp, the rest of us commoners don't have the. I'm just like, what the hell is that person doing? I'm so
well, and also like
confused.
that part of your life, like your teenhood into like young
Yeah.
adulthood, like that's still like you're coming out of like your moon part of life, like the ages that are by the moon process, right? And
Yeah.
so like that's where we're coming into our own and cultivating and developing. And so in regard to like that age of like the Tumblr girls specifically, they're trying to figure out who,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's just it looks different because they had internet different than we did.
Mhm.
Like we're able to actually view it at a larger level. It's not just the kid who's interested in something different every week at school. And yes, they were made fun of for being like posers or fake or whatever. But in reality, that could have just been who they are. And I think that on some like level, if we weren't so individualistic socially, because like that's what our society has be, and if we did have like a community idea, then we would maybe view that differently and help them cultivate, oh, you just change a lot. That's okay. Right?
Yeah, I mean that is very normal to just change all the
Some people
time.
are very changeable,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um and that could be like just very much like who they are in an annoying way.
Yeah,
Right?
this is who you are. It's really obnoxious, but there you are.
But there you are. There was a recent article published by Men's Health this year,
Mhm.
actually. Are we still in 2023? Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been doing 2024 astrology. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's the rise of the manic pixie dream girl, mainstream love interest don't give a fuck anymore for good reason. And the image is, I don't know who that person on the left is, but the main person is Jenna Ortega as Wednesday, and then on the other side is Audrey Plaza, which I can't like her anymore, and I'm really sad about it. But
Is it Israel related?
yes, she signed
Yeah.
up. She signed the naughty petition.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's so like it's still being written about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but Wednesday is more of like the anti, but I can see her as being a manic pixie dream girl. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a different flavor. She's the gothic flavor. She's the black lollipop,
Uh-huh. Black licorice. Delicious.
right? But also like she's autistic coded.
Right, but like also Manic Pixie Dream Girl like falls under that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah,
'Cause
and they added like the love interest and you know what I mean? Like
yeah, who
they
were
did they did the thing.
and
So I can see it.
the love interests are also bland and terrible. So,
Right. I mean, there's that too.
which yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that
It wasn't a
character.
great that wasn't a great love interest. Like, oh, we'll make her in love with the monster that you're not supposed to yet. It's gonna get you. And it's like, no, he was always the bad guy.
Yeah, I didn't like it either because I didn't see her interested in all just like she was just showing up to hang out and then he had that whole like I don't get it, Wednesday. You made me think that I like you. I'm like, when? What did any? I'm like, sir, you are not. You weren't. You know what? Get off screen. I'm too angry.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. It's like just admit that you we all know that you did. And that she
Right.
wasn't as interested. The same and she wasn't interested how you be interested.
Yeah, and that.
Like
Yeah.
you had an idea of how someone should be and
Mm-hmm.
that was it. And if they didn't do that thing, it doesn't count. Like, no, I'm sorry. Shut up. You can't just
Yeah.
decide, oh, I don't have feelings. You didn't do the thing I wanted you to.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was like the most realist emotion I had during the show, where I was just like, "What does this motherfucker think he is?" Just like I'm just like, so she wants to hang out with you. Maybe she just wants to be your friend. Okay. She's got to be your girlfriend. You know what? Go away. I can't with you.
Yeah,
Away with you.
exactly. Like,
So,
so the Urban Dictionary has a bunch of definitions. They obviously have the one that's the wiki, but then they have a girl who's smart and perfectly imperfect. She's everything you want, but slightly broken and unattainable. Her wild hair and magnificent personality pull you in, but you'll never be able to keep her or fix her. And that, I don't, it says, guy, dude, I love Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Girl, of course you do. She's a manic pixie dream girl. Um, and then there's another one, a female character whose entire character is based around a guy's shallow definition of a perfect girl, a nerd's wet dream girlfriend. She plays all the games he plays, likes everything he likes, and probably has a pixie cut, or some other radical hairstyle. Why is it always the hair, guys?
yeah,
Um,
I got asked
I
about that.
just because Ramona Flowers like different, like, okay, I'm sorry. I used to have my hair according to my mood too, but um, it doesn't mean
I mean, that's
it
what
doesn't
when
mean
someone
that's
asked me that. Yeah, they
like
were
a
just like,
pre,
"What's the hair?" Yeah, they were like,
right?
what's the hair color?" And I'm just like, "Well, I'm like,
It's
yes,
Ramona
they used."
Flowers and
Yeah,
and and Clementine from
yeah,
um
from
yeah,
Eternal
yeah,
Sunshine, and that was my thing too. And I was just like, actually, but then when I thought about it later, I was like, well, in their youth they dyed their hair, but now in their like getting onto their 40s, they don't dye their hair anymore. Not really, not the
right.
same way.
Not the
So
same way. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
different. It's
I'm just
different now because like then in the early mid 2000s, having different color hair not easily obtained.
mm-mm.
And it also came with like social implications
Yep.
very differently than now.
Yeah.
The conversation for this definition, which it goes on to say, so nerd guy's wet dream girlfriend. She plays all the games he plays, likes everything he likes, pixie cut or some other radical hairstyles. She probably has a perfect body, but hides it under baggy clothes and wears nothing but nerdy video game centric t-shirts or ridiculously over the top outfits that are practically costumes. So you're talking about a cosplayer.
Well, they would definitely fall, some of the girls would probably definitely fall under that or be treated as manic pixie dream girls.
Yeah. I mean, but those are con girls. That's its own like
Yeah.
subclass. Like
Yeah.
that's its own like fringe culture.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was sort of weird that they're like, he plays all the games, she plays it. I'm like, no, because usually boring sourdough boy doesn't do anything except sit in a room and throw a deck of cards against the wall because no one's here to fill his existence.
And like gamer guys don't really like gamer girls.
No, they don't. They get like mad at them.
They want, yeah, exactly. Like that was a point of contention like 5 years ago. Um
I feel like it's always been there. Well, I mean, well, oh, Luna Lovegood would be considered a manic pixie dream girl,
yeah, someone
probably.
had asked that in the Google search. Let me see
Mm.
if I can go back and find it. It's one of the like drop downs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, is Luna Lovegood a manic pixie dream girl? Her status as a girl with her head constantly in the clouds has made her a famous pixie dream girl, although some consider her to be more of a cuckoo than smart. Because that's also like a pre-qualifier, I guess.
Is like is smart.
Yeah, it's like a pre-qualifier.
I think Luna's a Ravenclaw.
I
Like,
know Luna's really smart. Like actually, well, that's the point of contention with. I was talking about that's one of like the things in
oh, yeah.
MPDG. Um,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
this definition says a manic pixie dream girl is broken or jaded in some way and often has a tragic backstory, usually suffers some form of mental personality, mood disorder, and or PTSD due to or from a traumatic event in her past. Examples of a manic pixie dream girl would be Ophelia from Hamlet. Ah,
Yeah, she's one of the OGs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Okay.
Emily Autumn has a whole concept album about her, and her song Opheliac is basically like
Yeah.
treat me like a
Mm-hmm.
manic pixie
Mm-hmm.
dream girl because you do anyway,
Because you do
fucker.
anyway, so you might as well. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that's the whole thing. I think that like from a personal perspective as someone who has been told that they are this thing within their lived experience, um
Hmm.
because like it's annoying, right? Because like I think like on a base like foundational level, like don't.
Hmm.
Because like what it does is it strips away autonomy from the person.
Hmm.
Like don't tell people, I guess, in a weird yucky like dictatorial way
Yeah.
that like you are just this thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I don't mind if someone uses that to, like describe, but at the same time, nobody no person wants to be called in a discussion that's not personal a
Hmm.
dream girl.
Unless you're in Dreamgirls the musical.
I mean, even then, right?
Fair.
Like, but what's attached to being a dream girl?
Fantasy, non-reality,
Yeah, hyper
weird
perfection.
expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But like,
Although,
yeah,
you know,
I think that it's very much, the Zoe Deschanel in the 100 Days of Summer or whatever.
hmm
And that she gets bored with him.
Oh yeah.
Like, but she ends up with someone boring too.
Boo.
But I mean, it's different, right?
hmm
But yeah, I think she just gets bored with him. Like, he becomes too reliant.
That's that's the trick.
Yeah. But anyway, I
Well,
don't even know how I feel about it at the beginning or end of the day. You can just wipe all of that because not actually, you don't have to delete it. You can edit it however you want. But
yeah.
I mean like in regard to I might have a different opinion later.
I mean, that's totally fine. I just always think it's a very interesting discussion. Well, especially when you're on like the friend side who's just like paying attention and watching, and you're just like, what is happening here? Why is this person treating this person like, oh, because they're a concept, they're not a real person to you.
Because I'm not a
That's
real
weird.
person. That's the part that I have an issue with. That's actually it. That's the crux of it for me.
Yeah.
Is again and again coming to this point where it's like, oh, they realized I'm a real person. And I think that that's the overall issue
Mm-hmm.
of like, even with my reference to 100 Days of Summer, he
Mm-hmm.
realizes that she's a real person
And
at the end
then
once
how
she's
does he?
gone. But
Ah,
the whole time that they were together, he didn't realize that she was a person.
that's weird.
Right. And like, I think that's what it is like, oh, they're real.
Mm-hmm. They're real, right? They're real. Clap your hands if you believe in fairies. Um,
Right. But like, yeah, like Amelie is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
mhm.
Absolutely. She's my favorite. That's also one of my favorite movies. But like,
Oh yeah, that movie.
I saw it in the theater when it came out when I was 13 years old. It's my favorite soundtrack too. Um, but yeah, so like there's like another weird thing. I'm like, she has the best bedroom and the best apartment and like everything is like perfect. Um
Build in Sims. Live
and the
next to Nana.
and it's actually I should. And the way that she like sees the world, I loved it so much because like I was a young teen and I'm like, that's how I see the world. Like it was nice because this character from this movie so much like narrated the world the way that I view the world and narrated in my like, it was
Mm.
actually relatable.
Mm.
And like the quirky connections, quote unquote quirky, but the
Oh,
connections that
wait.
were made between
Yeah.
different things and like noticing small things and how things highlight each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um and synchronicities, but not in like a weird woo-woo way, in like a very practical, real way. Um but yeah. Uh
Yeah.
but yeah, real people.
Real people, guys.
Not
That's
everybody has to be boring.
prefer if people were not boring. I think someone asked me that. They're like, what's the worst thing you could be? And I'm like, boring. That's the worst thing I could.
Actually, like it's like somebody who gets bored.
Mm-hmm.
If you get bored, you're probably not very bright.
Oh, Nate gets bored often.
Well, tell Nate he's better than that. I said he's better than that. Okay?
Yeah,
But Nate has like hobbies and stuff. It's just like if he gets bored, it's because he doesn't want to do them because they take energy and he doesn't want to use his little golden spoons. It's not the same thing.
it's true. That's
I don't
actually
think I don't
accurate.
I don't actually believe that he's actually bored. I think that he's just a Taurus and he's out of golden spoons.
Yes, he's out of golden spoons. I
So he's
really
not allowed to say that he's bored anymore because it's not true.
okay. I'll tell him that. Like Kirsten said, you can't say you're bored because I'm not sure. You just don't have the energy. You don't want to spend your little cute golden spoons on your little thread. And
Exactly.
he'll think about it and go, no, that's actually true. And then we'll probably also say, but I'm just gonna say I'm bored because it's faster than talking about my spoons.
I mean, he just needs like a little. He just needs. I'm gonna get him little golden spoons on a red thread. It's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm so excited. He's gonna be
It's
so
gonna.
excited.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay, it's gonna happen. Yeah. On that note, though, use both of your brains and
Yeah.
stop saying that the whole baby mama drama has to do with money. Hachi made her choice. She
Hachi
could have
made her
had
choice.
money both ways
Yes.
in multiple different ways.
It's baffling to me how we have to keep having the same conversations. First it's about Shin, and now it's about the money thing. Like we just
Right. Same
round and around we
conversations
go.
over those two things. They're not the biggest points of contention. There are other
Mm-mm.
things that we could be discussing, like, I don't know, the
Some.
nuances of how they like talk to each other. But like also think about it this way. If it was Nobu's baby, okay? And Hachi got together with Nobu would still be allowed to be in his band, guys. Okay. On top of that, his mom would be probably so excited to have a grandbaby.
Yep.
Like, actually.
Yeah.
And Nobu comes from money.
Mm-hmm.
And we know from like his mom randomly calling, she's happy for it.
Mm-hmm.
She just didn't know. He probably didn't tell her anything.
Mm-hmm. Ran away
You
from
know?
home.
He
Yeah.
ran away from home. He probably didn't tell her anything about anything.
Hachi and Nobu both ran away from home. Nobu didn't leave a note.
Nobu didn't leave a note. Hachi left a note
Left a note.
and was sent marriage money. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. She was not using both brains. Neither of them were using brains, but you
Nope.
don't really use all, like, your frontal lobe is like still developing, I think. Yeah, at that age. And then if you have, there's a new study, if you have your brain's not done developing till like 30, not even 24. So guess what? They're not using whole brains.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. I was like, everyone was like, "Oh, you want to be a teenager again?" I'm like, "Can I take my 30-something brain and go back?" Because I'll tell
That's
you
what,
what.
yeah. Yeah, I would be so into it. I would be like, I
The
want to take the
art.
things now.
Yeah.
And then I'd be down.
Like, and then I could reason more, then like walk away from more stuff like that's stupid, and just
Like,
keep
I would be
going.
okay with even just going back to my,
Fair.
I would. Um, but I'm also okay with where I'm at.
Same.